used to drink way too much, used it as a crutch, used it to numb everything that was going on in my head. And then I stopped. Cold turkey, no messing about, no 12-step program. I woke up one morning and said no, kind of like I'd embodied that weird drug slogan of the 80s and 90s. For 3 years, I was teetotal, completely sober. And during those 3 years, if I watched Midsummer Murders, which I'd been watching for years, I'd feel pangs, like a pull towards wine. But I never once connected it to the show. I just thought, well, that's the craving talking. That's what I've given up. I didn't realise the show was triggering something much darker. Fast forward to the end of my teetotal years, thanks to an orange juice and champagne mix up at a wedding, reminded me just how much I loved the flavour. I'm in what I like to call, let's start again and have this here where I can use it. What does this work? Oh, hasn't this got some of those things in? Oh, it's not. Oh, yeah, you're not. Oh, shit. Oh, that's a bit shit. I used to drink way too much, used it as a crutch, used it to numb everything that was going on in my head, and then I stopped. Cold turkey. No messing about, no 12-step program. I woke up one morning and said no, kind of like I'd embodied that weird drug slogan of the 80s and 90s. And for 3 years, I was teetotal, completely sober. And during those 3 years, if I watched Midsummer Murders, which I'd been watching for years, I'd feel pangs, a pull towards wine. But I never once connected it to the show. I just thought, well, that's the craving talking. That's what I've given up. I didn't realise the show was triggering something much darker. Like, fast forward to the end of my teetotal years, thanks to an orange juice and champagne mix up at the wedding, reminded me just how much I loved the flavour. I'm in what I like to call the free zone. I can take it or leave it. I can have a glass of wine at a wedding, a beer with dinner, a shandy in the summer. I'm not desperate or doing everything I can to distract myself from it. I'm just free from the nudging desire to sit back with a glass of whatever, regardless of the occasion. And then one evening a few years ago, I put Midsummer Murders on, and there it was again, that huge insistent pull towards opening a bottle of wine, except this time I was paying attention. And my first thought was like, where the heck did that desire come from? It wasn't there before I sat down. I hadn't drunk for a few months, but there it was, gnawing at the back of my mind in the same way termites gobble through foundations of your house. I batted it away as a weird bit. But then later on in the programme, it happened again. And now my spidey sense was tingling. Something outside of me was triggering something inside of me. And because I wasn't in deprivation, I was ready for the next nudge. And right in front of me, I could actually see what was happening. The show wasn't just entertaining me, it was selling me something. Now, I know that life will always teach you what you need, and the best way to learn a lesson is by making it fun. So I turned it into a game, and I know it definitely sounds lame, but I do this sort of thing. So I started counting, and every time a character had a problem, they cracked open a bottle of wine. Every time something good happened, they celebrated with wine. So life's taken a turn for the worse, wine. Life's good, wine. And the message was relentless. Wine equals comfort, wine equals celebration, wine equals how you cope. And here's the thing, those two excuses, coping with hardship, celebrating good times, I'd ridden on both of those before I'd quit drinking. They'd shaped my entire relationship with alcohol, but they weren't my choices. They were society's choices, and here they were, packaged and sold to me through a crime drama. I didn't consciously think I should have wine because the detective has wine. It was subtler than that. It was a feeling, a nudge, an invisible suggestion that bypassed my thinking brain entirely and went straight straight to my nervous system. That's subliminal suggestion, and that's how modern life works. And here's what's important. I only saw it because I was finally free enough to notice it. If I'd still been in the grip of it, desperate for a drink, I would have just thought, well, I want wine, and then gone and satisfied my desire. I wouldn't have realised the show had triggered the reaction in me. Most people never get that moment of recognition. They just keep drinking the wine, buying the thing, scrolling the feed, following the path, all while believing they're making free choices, and they're not. And this is where the real problem starts. You live in a world of infinite options. Netflix, Amazon, Instagram, TikTok, 1,000 streaming services, 1 million products, endless choices. Feels like freedom, looks like freedom, but here's the truth. More options don't equal more freedom, they equal more control. And this is called the paradox of choice, and it's been studied extensively. Psychologist Barry Schwartz found that when people are given too many options, they experience decision fatigue, so your brain gets exhausted from choosing. You get decreased satisfaction. Even when you choose something good, you wonder if you chose it wrong. Increased anxiety, wondering if there was a better option you missed, and this leads to learned helplessness. So you stop trusting your own judgment and start outsourcing decisions to algorithms, reviews, and experts. So things like Netflix give you 10,000 options, and instead of feeling liberated, you spend 45 minutes scrolling and end up watching something you've already seen because the algorithm recommended it. You're not choosing, you're being nudged, and the system counts on you not noticing. And here's where it gets really dark. When you're constantly outsourcing your decisions to algorithms, to experts, to influencers, to social proof, your brain learns something. I can't trust my own decisions. I need somebody else to decide for me. And this is what's called learned helplessness, and it was first documented by psychologist Martin Seligman in the 1960s. He found that when people are repeatedly put in situations where they have no control, they eventually stop trying to regain control. They become passive and they become dependent. They believe they're victims of circumstance instead of agents of their own lives. And here's where it gets really, really bad. The system we all know and trust is designed to keep you there. Now think about it. If you believed you were the expert on your own health, your own happiness, your own life, you wouldn't need therapists to fix you, doctors to tell you what to eat, life coaches to tell you how to live, influencers to tell you what to buy, or algorithms to tell you what to think. The entire wellness industrial complex is built on keeping you dependent, on convincing you that you're broken, that you need saving, that you can't trust your own judgment. And the moment you believe that, you're trapped in learned helplessness. Your agency disappears, your anxiety skyrockets, and the system profits. And here's how it works. You're presented with infinite choices. Your brain gets completely overwhelmed. You outsource the decision to an algorithm or an expert. You get a result, whether good or bad, it really doesn't matter. Then you feel less confident in your own judgment, so next time you outsource again and again and again. Meanwhile, your nervous system is registering, I have no control, I can't trust myself, I need somebody else to decide. And this is chronic low-level threat. Your nervous system is constantly in a state of mild dysregulation because you've handed over your agency. And dysregulation plus loss of control always equals anxiety. So you feel anxious. And what does the system offer? More solutions, more experts, more things to buy, more algorithms to follow, more reasons to believe that you can't trust yourself. It's a beautiful trap. And most people never escape it because they don't even realize they're in it. Now, I work with people who've survived trauma, like real, serious, life-altering trauma. And here's what I've learned. The trauma isn't always the problem. The belief that the trauma has made them a victim is the problem. They've already survived. They've already saved themselves by walking away. They're alive and they're here. But somewhere along the way, they learned, I'm broken. I need fixing. I need an expert to save me. And that belief, that learned helplessness is what keeps them stuck. My job, it isn't to help them unpick the trauma. They'll do that on their own in their own time as they're ready. My job is to help them own their healing journey and use the tools. Because here's the thing, they are the only ones who can heal themselves. Not me, not a therapist, not a doctor, them. I'm a walking encyclopedia. I have knowledge. I may present it in a different way to somebody else, but it's just knowledge. But they're the ones who have to read it, understand it, and take action. And the moment that they do, the moment they realize I'm the expert on my own life, everything shifts. Their anxiety drops, their confidence rises. They stop outsourcing the health and happiness and start owning it. But here's what infuriates me. Around 85% of my clients wouldn't have needed me if the experts had focused on helping them become their own healers instead of positioning themselves as the savior. The therapy industry, the wellness industry, and the self-help industry all profit from your learned helplessness. They need you to believe you're broken. They need you to believe only they can fix you. And that's utter bollocks. So how do you escape the trap? Well, you start by recognizing that it's a trap. You notice when you're being nudged. You pause before you click. You ask yourself, would I have wanted this without the suggestion? Is this my choice or is this the algorithm's choice? You start making decisions without outsourcing them. You pick a book from a physical shelf instead of scrolling through Amazon recommendations. You choose a meal because you want it, not because it has a 5-star review. You take a walk on a whim instead of consulting Google Maps. And these tiny acts of autonomy train your brain to trust itself again. You actively seek out opposing perspectives. You follow people who challenge you. You read things that make you uncomfortable. You keep your mental map wide and unpredictable so no algorithm can fully predict you. You protect your cognitive energy by front-loading low-stakes routines such as meal prep, capsule wardrobe, and default playlists. And when you're not exhausted from trivial decisions, you have energy for the ones that matter. And you reflect weekly on who chose what. Journal it, voice note it, ask yourself what decisions felt truly mine, which ones felt nudged, and which felt habitual. Over time, patterns will emerge. You start to see where you're being manipulated. And once you see it, you really can't unsee it. And true freedom, it isn't infinite options. It's not having 1,000 choices. True freedom is clarity and courage. Clarity about what you actually want, not what the algorithm told you want. Courage to choose it even when the world is engineered to make that hard. You don't have to win every battle against the system. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stay awake enough to keep choosing your own path. And the moment that you do, the moment you realize I'm the expert on my own life, your anxiety drops, your agency rises, and you stop being a victim of circumstance. You become the author of your own story, and that's when real healing starts. P.S. If you're currently outsourcing your health, your happiness, or your healing to an expert who's positioning themselves as your savior, ask yourself, are they helping me become my own healer, or are they helping themselves stay in business? There's a difference. A huge one. Now, the Happiness Hacks Lab is designed to help you break free from learned helplessness by taking small micro actions every day to rebuild your confidence in the only expert you actually need, yourself. Head to the lab, take the free test, lock in your 30-day harmonizing plan, and get started healing today for free. Links in the description below.